Hello, world. It's your Pan African World Diaspora Champion, Trish Adora, and I'm hanging with the guys at Heels, Pops, and Chair Shots.
You still there? I saw you.
Welcome back to Heels, Pops, and Chair Shots Wrestling's Entertainment Champions. Mischief, PCF, and the villain are here tonight, and I'm actually excited, man. We got ourselves one of the most wonderful and talented women of this sport joining us today, guys. A former GCW champion, but currently the Pan-African World Diaspora Champion, the Afropunk Trish Adora. How you doing tonight?
Hey, how are y'all?
Woo! There she is.
On fire, baby. Is that heavy? Because you've been carrying that for a minute. You got to carry that around.
I know. My camera's messing up a little bit, y'all. But yeah, it's a little heavy.
Oh man, it's beautiful. It's a beautiful title. I love it. You've talked already a lot about your energy and how it feels, but I have to ask again, right? How does it feel holding that title and what it represents?
It's like the coolest thing in the world, you know. I want to say sometimes you forget, and then every once in a while you'll kind of have those moments where you'll remember. You know, you'll kind of be at a show and somebody will be like, "Oh, you know," one of your peers will say like, "Oh, like I really dig your work. I'm like happy that something like this exists," and you know all that stuff. And then I'm like, "Oh, okay, so I am making a difference." Sometimes it just feels like I'm just going to the show and I'm going home and I'm going to sleep and I'm waking up and going to training, but like there's actually a ripple effect. There's actually some things that are being affected by this. So it's pretty cool.
You just said like people going up to you, and is there anybody that has come up to you that has said, you know, something to you to that effect that really like stands out? That you're like, oh my God, like this person like really, you know, has some nice things to say.
Yeah. So at Mania, I got to meet Jazz. Finally. Yeah. So
that's awesome.
So that was really cool. And we just got to chit chat for like a minute or two. And she was actually very happy to work with me. She wanted to work with me. She was like, I'm inspired by her work, you know, and she is inspired by mine and she considers me a peer. And that's kind of crazy. That's kind of crazy. So it's just so interesting. I don't even have words for that. It's just
wow, nice. They say never meet your heroes, but when you get starstruck like that, man, and somebody like Jazz, I know is gonna probably make you get in the feels and all that. You've done quite a lot of work though. You've put in some work. You got your background speaks so athletically that capoeira. You played rugby. Like talk to me about those things, man, because you're very athletic.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah. Yeah, I didn't really play any sports or do much growing up. So I made a point to like once I could make the choice, like in my adult life, to kind of just try some things that I always wanted to try. So that's why a lot of those things ended up happening. And honestly, they lend a lot to my wrestling now. So I'm very happy to have, you know, played rugby. I'm very happy, very thankful for capoeira. My studio closed down because of COVID, so that's pretty unfortunate. So I'm a little displaced. So yeah. So until I figure something out.
So anybody in Washington D.C. that knows a good capoeira spot, hit up Trish.
Even like, for real, DMV, like Maryland, Virginia, I'm willing to like travel a little bit. So just anything to kind of stay in shape. I enjoyed the camaraderie, you know, it's really cool. So
how bad has COVID affected things for you? I mean, like work wise. I mean, have you been I wanted to ask you also about your WrestleMania weekend work, but other than that, have you been getting other bookings, or has that interfered a lot in your bookings?
Well, yes and no. I feel like it's some type of mixed blessing or like a blessing in disguise because right so I won the belt in February of last year, 2020. And the next month, everything kind of shut down. And all the bookings just kind of like disappeared. And I got really nervous. I lost both my jobs. And I was like, uh-oh. I was just planning to move out. And I was trying to like buy a car. And I just got like super ambitious. And this just kind of really just messed everything up. So it kind of forced me to reevaluate everything. I just kind of took a hard look at everything and was like, okay. So I was working pretty often. And now that I'm not going to be working at all, what are going to be some of the things that I can hone in on that maybe I've been missing up until this point because I've been working, So I was like, all right, so my social media kind of sucks, so let me get a little more intentional with how I use social media and maybe I'll be able to grow. Because that's kind of the whole point. I would like to grow my audience. So if I could work on being more intentional about that and growing my audience, then I would say I could call this time a victory instead of just saying that I've lost everything. So I really mentally checked myself up a little bit. And that's kind of an ongoing thing. But this past year, I really prioritized that. So I feel really good about that. I'm able to just kind of sit with myself, spend some time with my family because he hasn't been doing that. Honestly, it's so funny. I started up some new hobbies that I never thought that I would start.
Really? Nice.
I started playing chess. My little brother actually taught me how to play chess.
Oh, okay. Nice. Okay.
This guy loves playing chess. He's awful, but he loves losing.
I'm still stuck on checkers.
I love losing at chess.
Okay. Online, they're brutal. Playing chess online, those people are no joke. I understand that. No. But it's actually just, it's sharpened my worldview altogether, really. So I'm thankful to have had the time to be able to do all those things that are so important. And the best part is I'm able to grow because of those things. So I'm kind of like, all right, that's like a double win. Not only did, I make use of my time, but I've made use of my time and it's paying off like in dividends. So.
Oh, that's awesome.
Nice.
Trish, I wanted to ask you, so let's take it back a little. Let's rewind. So how old were you when you came into the world of wrestling, when the first time you laid eyes on wrestling and you fell in love with it?
Ooh, I had to be like a kid. I remember like, I remember just like crowding around the TV with like my brothers and stuff, just kind of like wondering what's going on, like being a little confused about what I was seeing because like I saw an audience and I saw like what I thought was like a boxing ring. So I'm like, okay. And then there's like Nitro Girl. So I'm like, okay, that's interesting. And then like the most vivid sound ever is just like the sound of the WCW ring, like and just hearing that like that sound of like the mat. I just remember that so vividly. It's some of like my earliest memories. I just Sting and DDP were like some of my favorites growing up.
Yes.
I dug the cruiserweights, and then a little bit of ECW women's wrestling and WWF at the time. I thought they were super cool. Funny enough, the women were all so different, but I really felt like I could see myself in all of them. Funny enough, I don't know. I felt pretty connected to them in their own way, so I gravitated to that feeling of wrestling. So
nice.
Awesome.
Go ahead, Mischief.
And to piggyback off of that, when was the moment that you're like, I can do that?
Oh yeah, so Jacqueline versus Trash. That's when I was like, okay, yeah, I can do that.
Okay.
That was like really the first time I saw like a black woman wrestler guy, and it be viewed under a serious lens, not really under that that comedy lens sometimes that they put women's wrestling or the into mixed gender wrestling. How they put it under that lens.
Like a gimmick or whatever.
Sleaze or comedy. Yes, very gimmicky. So, or hammy, maybe I should say that. But this was taken seriously. I thought that was so cool. It's a very, short couple matches, but they make sense. They're psychologically sound. They make sense, and they're cheering for a Black woman, which I thought was really cool. So
That's awesome.
Oh, dope. And currently you are in the ROH dojo, are you not?
yes, I do train under the ROH.
Nice, nice. But I have a good word that you came from the 3D school, right? The school of 3D. How many tables you had to break to get there, though? Talk to me. I don't know.
No tables, thankfully.
No, thankfully. All right.
That's day one. Day one is a 3D, 2 tables.
Around to a table, and I'm just like, you know what?
Devon, get the table.
I love that. Like
2D to get into the advanced class. I'm like, you know what?
no, I'm out. I love that. Like your story of like falling in love with like the possibility of wrestling involves like, I think I could beat up Crash Holly. yes, I can do that. No, Vic, go ahead, yo.
You did say that you thought it was cool of the aspect of a woman and a man mixing it up and then taking it seriously. Oh, I love that you said that, because that brings me to my next point with you. You went 60 minutes with Tony Deppen. Talk to me about that experience and talk to me how that went, because it was an amazing match. Holy crap.
I appreciate that. Thank you. I appreciate everybody watching and all like the feedback I've gotten. Thank everybody so much. I just wanted to take a second to do that. I feel like with each match, I move the needle somewhat in some way. I'm hoping, at least in my own world, I am. So I'm hoping that reciprocates.
Facts.
I really do feel like that match really like changed the trajectory of my career. Definitely. I look back at that match fondly. You know, I go back and I watch it and I'm just like, holy crap. Or I'm still just kind of like, sometimes like looking at myself go through that. I still just kind of like, I know what's going to happen. And I'm still just like, I get so caught up in it. It is so funny.
So it's like really no
so
mental
watching that back.
Like how like you
yeah, you really can't. And it all happened so fast, and the way it happened too, and the whole thing. So I just, you know, I responded to a tweet, and everything just happened, you know. And
saying, you know, you were in the ring.
And the next day, it was all set up, and a day later, we had a graphic, and we had, you know, the cause with everything, with our respective charities. So it was just, it all just came together so beautifully. So I'm really happy to have been able to do that under the Beyond banner as well. You know, happy to have that debut for them. You know, that was a debut for me. So I'm really happy about, you know, the entire experience. I couldn't even figure what to do. I was like, now what am I supposed to do? Do I just, you know?
And to be honest, you couldn't tell. Anybody could not tell from the outcome and the result, because it looked like you guys moved and had a chemistry for years, man. Like you guys were on point with all the spots, and it was good. It was good money. You happy to do it? We were happy to see it.
To watch
the damn thing. Now you walk around. You have the championship now, the Pan African Championship. That's not a women's title. That's just a heavyweight championship. Now you're gonna be in some more intergender matches. How does that feel? How do you expect to do?
Well, so the plan is to just be open to all competitors. So I do have like a mixed gender mindset as far as my career goes. I can understand the importance of wanting to be one way or the other, but for me personally, I've always just kind of, you know, fit right in with the guys, so to speak. You know, I have 5 brothers. I was the only girl, you know, and everything that I've done, even in the Army, I've always been in like a smaller unit. And so I don't know. I feel like I'm never really out of place within any male dominated arena. So I've never really seen I've never put put their glass ceiling on me.
Cool.
You know,
I like the way you said
I
that.
like that.
yeah. So I enjoy being open to all competitors. I think that sharpens a lot of my tools. I think that helps me with my psychology. I think that helps my overall wrestling, and I'm hoping it overall helps wrestling in some way. I don't know. I hope so.
Oh, it most definitely does. I mean, you look at matches like yours, and they set the standard for little girls watching at home and watching online, and you know they look at you like you looked at others, and they will too want to pursue in your footsteps. And with that, I want to ask you, this past couple weekends, we had WrestleMania. We had Sasha Banks and Bianca Belair. I mean, looking at that match, did you watch? Did you get to see the Bianca and Sasha? Like, I want to know, how did that make you feel that they got to accomplish that stuff?
I'm so happy about that. I'm so happy when Black women are put in the forefront of anything, especially, this male dominated, this white male dominated. I always make a point to like set that part off.
Right,
it's very important.
Right.
Very important.
It's just the business that we're all in. So to see places, highlight Black women, whether or not they've not been able to, notoriously not been able to do so, or maybe that wasn't the status quo or what was considered cool. However it shakes down, I'm just happy they have that platform. That's the platform. When you are a kid, that was the platform to use. So I'm sure that was just, I mean, I can't even imagine how that felt to them. But to see, all the way on the outside looking in, I thought that was like so dope. That's so dope. I love seeing, my sisters win. I love seeing.
Yeah, no doubt.
That makes me happy. I feel like, a lot of wins are like wins for, women's wrestling as a whole sometimes,
Right. And you even yourself.
Oh,
go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I'm saying it's kind of like growing pains, and it was hard reaching that, getting to that point where, everyone can win. And that's kind of just a life thing, honestly, where it's like everybody can win. There is a seat for everyone,
Yeah.
And once I've internalized that, I don't really take anyone else's wins personally. So I can be genuinely happy for someone that has something and go, that's a win for everybody, and that's their dream coming true anyway, so.
Right.
We like to say everybody eats. Right? Everybody eats.
Yeah.
Everybody can eat, right? That don't mean that you ain't taking food out of your mouth. You know what I mean? If nothing, it's a great opportunity, right? Like you said, it's something that was accomplished that can now be accomplished again, or at least it feels like it can be accomplished again. So that's great. I love how you talked about psychology. You mentioned this several times. How important is ring psychology to you?
Well, I think it's the basis of everything that we're kind of doing. If the whole base story is good versus bad, then that's psychology right there. It's like classic cops versus robbers from like the 20s, those old black and white films. Even they got it. It's the whole psychology of who you want to root for, or even when you build upon that psychology and however the match shakes down. I think psychology is so important, and to be able to master how you think about matches, or at least get close to that, or at least to even start thinking in that direction, how you put together matches per opponent and how that comes together as a whole and who you are as a competitor, you'll be so much sharper, and things will feel so much easier, things will feel like so much of a better flow for you, That's how I see it personally.
Have you been matched up with somebody, and like when you guys are kind of like going through it, you're like, wait, what the fuck? Like, what are you putting together right now? Because this makes no sense. No names.
Well, so, and right, and I mean, I don't even know how much of the curtain to pull back or what even to say, but with respects to that, usually I feel like there's kind of an understanding with, at least my style of wrestling is very technical. So the psychology is kind of threaded in the moves that I'm learning and how I put them together. So if I'm put in across from someone who's much larger than me, and then the next night I'm put across from someone who is smaller than me, and then the next day I'm put across a luchador, and the next day I'm put across from a brawler, something's going to be alike in each of those matches, because that's what's true to me as the performer. How we act that out is going to be a little different based on each opponent. So I think about it that way. So things flow a little bit more naturally. And I believe my opponents understand that too.
Or they will. they better.
I'm putting it on them. I'm kidding.
Yo, mother.
Put a pause on them.
So speaking about opponents, Trish, is there any opponents that you love to work with?
You know what's crazy? That's so funny because, like, I feel like a couple weeks ago I was just I answered this question maybe like a couple weeks ago, and some of those matches are happening. So that's just really interesting. It actually got announced I'll be able to work with Lee Moriarty, so I'm very happy about that. And also I'll be working with Jazz, so always pretty happy about that. So very, very good. I'm happy to be mixing it up with Kimberly as well. So, and I just wrestled high end actually this past weekend at First Wrestling, which you all should go watch on IWTV.
Wow.
Okay. All right. Yes, please. And if you are a first-time subscriber, please use code AFROPUNK. You get 5 free days to peep all my matches. You should stay longer though, so you can watch everybody's stuff and just keep the train going. So, a little plug there, my bad.
Hey,
plug away. Plug away. Man, you were talking earlier about
how you like to see women of color do great and all, and you yourself have provided match. We know you personally from well, we're not allowed to say any specifics, but we know you from great women tournaments that gave back to the women's division from other promotions, and we did.
That shall not be named. You pussyfooting around it, damn it.
They will not be named, but we know you do great, phenomenal work. What are you like? What are you excited about that's coming up for you in the immediate future?
Let's see. I'm really just kind of like looking through my May and my June. I got my little calendar over here. I keep looking over here. Sorry, I have my calendar. I have a couple of things that I'm excited about. Running it back at Beyond, so I'm happy to work there. So they're teaming up with Women's Wrestling Revolution, so pretty happy about that. And so I'll be working with Edith Surreal twice in actually a week, so we'll be able to run that back a couple times for sure.
Nice.
So I'm pretty happy about that. One time in Texas, and we'll run it back up in Massachusetts as well. So I feel pretty happy about that. Honestly, I'm happy to get my training prospects situated too, because I'm kind of working towards, trying to create some type of big sister program or something like that with a couple of training schools along the coast that I have a good working relationship with, at least, or that, I feel comfortable at. I would like to try to maybe foster some relationships there and begin training in seminars and things like that. So I'm really happy to hopefully be able to give back in that way, at least some time,
always giving back. Always giving back.
Yeah.
Look at you.
That's important. That's important. We lose a lot of people.
It is. A Wounded Warrior alumni too, right? Talk to me about that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So I was in the Army for 8 years. It's a pretty fun time overall, I believe. I did a deployment to Afghanistan in 2012. That's where me and Johnny kind of like started to really flesh out kind of some ideas about what this all was going to be around this time. You know, Johnny is the creator of Fight Club. So,
Okay.
so we deployed together in 2012, and he was like, what if there be a place where, you know, Black wrestlers could go and be XYZ, you know, they can kind of be how they'd like, they can, you know, and I'd be like, well, if you make the place, I'll be a wrestler, and then like, I'll work there, and then, you know what I mean? It felt like such a silly idea, kind of. Now that I think about it, it felt like a really silly idea as we were talking about it. But it messed around and caught fire, and here we are, you know? So I'm very thankful because, honestly, without the Army, none of this would have happened. So I could say overall I'm very pleased with my level of service. So
amazing.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah, you should be, girl. You did the damn thing. Did what a lot of people couldn't. So, and thank you for your service. You're absolutely right.
Yes, thank you for your service.
Where do we go from here for you? What is Trisha Adora's future looking like?
Well, dang, I'm over here keeping mad secrets, but no, I'm kidding. No, but I think that I'm going to continue to debut at new places. That's kind of the trajectory that I'm on. I would like to continue to debut at like new independent promotions. You know, maybe even hit up the West Coast once it's safe to do so. You know, and it's feeling closer to that, and I'll be closer to being fully vaccinated. So,
that too, right?
Yeah, so that'll make things easier for my job. So that's worth it enough there. So I'm looking to maybe start to work with companies that have, you know, TV deals. That would be nice. Or are doing something, or I'll say that are doing something on TV or that are broadcasting to a large network, you know.
Okay.
I'm trying to make sure all the words, make sure I cover everybody.
Right. That's the ball.
That one. Okay. No. Yeah, I just want to make sure that I can also have something to where I can bring others up too, and something that I can give back, you know. So I'm hoping to just keep working, conquer the indies, you know, move the needle one match at a time.
Conquer the indies. Hell yeah. Wow. I like how you said like you're gonna cast a wide net. So I'm gonna hook you up here. You know, working on TV is gotta feel different. It's gotta be different. How does Trish Adora up her game to be on TV? What does that look like?
Honestly, that looks like getting more reps in. You know, now I train at least 60 minutes, you know, straight. Now I'm like, you know, now that's the at least, you know, now that's baseline for me. So I want to keep making sure that if I consider myself my own standard bearer, that I keep moving forward. So now it's like I begin to just train more and just ingest more wrestling and make sure that I'm just kind of changing it up each time too. I've started to consume, you know, I watch a lot of World of Sport, but I'm also watching, you know, some old UWFI. So
nice.
Having a really good time with that. So mixing those worlds is so interesting, and trying to, with respect to those two, build that into my like wrestling psychology has been so much fun. So I'm really excited about like some stuff that is going to be happening for me this year as it relates to, you know, just new psychology.
So. Nice. Wow, that's exciting to hear. And with the times, quote unquote, improving, hopefully we will get to witness some of that in person, moving forward. Trish,
or on TV.
Oh, on TV, right? Most definitely up to you for sure.
Yeah.
I want to thank you for your time. I appreciate you joining us today. We like to end with a lightning round. We call it the round of chair shots. Mischief, why don't you hook her up?
You said it right this time. Yes.
Got you.
You said it right.
I get it wrong every episode. I get it wrong, I swear.
Every time. All right, so Trish, lightning round, real quick. First thing that comes to your head, right? What's your favorite cheat meal?
Oh. Ice cream.
Ice cream. Oh, you gotta tell me flavor.
Thai iced tea is like one of the best flavors I've ever had.
What?
Thai iced tea.
So good.
I've never had. Is there a particular brand? Like, because I've never had it.
It's one local to the DMV. They do ship worldwide, though, or not worldwide. Let me not say that. To the U.S.
To the U.S. International. Okay.
Liar!
Domestic.
All right, what's your favorite movie?
Liar, liar.
Oh, yes.
Oh, okay.
A nostalgic pick. So I need
No. One of my favorite movies is Dumb and Dumber because Jim Carrey can do no wrong. So I feel you.
Yeah. Right.
See, you see. What superpower would you have if you could pick one?
The power of like maybe to like not control emotions, so to speak, but to like calm somebody. Like the power of like a relaxed power, like a
Calm yourself.
like a contact high power. I like vibe check power, like a energy check power.
I'm gonna call it my sit the fuck down real quick. Bam! Like,
exactly. Yes.
Yeah, time out.
I like that answer better than transportation.
Yo,
I like every answer better than transportation.
Yo, damn near every wrestler says some sort of teleportation or flying.
That's true. I'm telling you, get to these books. Hey, that's real.
Yeah, Trisha about to change. You see, I'm gonna change the question.
I mean, think about how easier it would be to teleport with a title than flying with a title. Think about
no
how
TSA. No, don't make it change her answer.
Think about it. Always open the bag. I'm just like, yeah. And they're like, oh, they walk into the gate, and I'm like, yeah, thanks. And I'm like, guys,
they're like passing it around and shit. You're like, yo, I gotta go.
yeah, well, let me take pictures, and I'm like, all right, guys, come on.
It's a mission right now.
Yo, for real. I'll take my shoes off. What the hell? All right, who would you want to meet, either real or fictional? Someone you want to meet.
Shoot, my first thought is just Harriet Tubman. Probably the first thought.
Wow.
That's New York.
Nice.
Yeah.
Any
we didn't bring up the Lariat Tubman though. I wanted to ask you about that. That's my fault. You have
I love that name. Any questions that you just anything off the top of the head that you would ask her if you saw her?
Yo, I was like, I don't know. I think that would be like such just a vibe check. I feel like she would just look at me and give me a little nod, and I'd look at her and I'd give her a little nod. You know, we just like fist bump. You know, we just like we pass each other on our journeys in our own little cyclical universes somehow. That's how I kind of see it. It's just like one of those like, okay.
So,
and I was like, okay.
That's cool.
Gotcha. What is the worst purchase you've ever made?
Worst purchase?
She's like, it's right here.
I want to say I'm looking around at like so many little hobbies that I started that I kind of did. Like, I really thought I was gonna be out here collecting coins, and I got mad little like piggy jars and little cups and stuff. And I'm like, dang, I wasn't gonna do that, was I? And I got mad cups everywhere. Like,
all right. We'll just say all of it. It sounds like all of it.
All of the above.
All right. What's the dumbest way you've been injured? That like it's happened and you're like, I can't believe this took me out. She's like, that's a stupid ass question. That was her face. Yeah, I don't appreciate it.
That one.
It's really interesting. It's funny because like I didn't want to make 2 trips up the stairs. to my room. And so I thought that I could like carry all my food. And like I had like ramen and like something to drink. And then I had like two other drinks and then like a bag of chips. And I was like, I could just come back. Especially, and I'm like, no, but I couldn't, I just couldn't. So I'm going up and like, I tripped like halfway up because like something's slipping and I'm doing this. And now I'm like trying to figure out what. I dropped the noodles on my foot and I slipped and I like banged my knee and I stubbed my toe. And I'm just sitting there. Everything is like ruined. I had like a little glass of wine. I dropped the wine. I broke the glass. I turned over the noodle. I was like, I was really disappointed because I was like, well, dang, that wasn't supposed to happen. I went through all
That's not how we clean up.
That wasn't supposed to happen.
Who booked this? Who booked this evening?
Yo, what the hell?
There's fucking glass everywhere. I got ramen juice on my
So upset. So upset. I really like it bummed me out.
I can't help but just laugh at how many cups of water you had, like cups of liquid you carried in that scenario.
Because I get so ambitious because I'll have a ginger ale, then I'll have a bottle of water. But then I'll have like a sparkling water too, because I'm like, maybe I should like drink more sparkling water. Then I'll have like a bag of chips for later. But then I'll have gummies, right? And then I'll have like an extra snack pinched in. Because I was just outside smoking, so I tucked my J right here. And I got the lighter right here. And then I was holding my keys, and it was really bright out, so I had my sunglasses tucked in here. And I just could not go back downstairs for any reason. I had to take all of that.
You said,
oh my God.
You had all of that, but I'm gonna hook you up because I'm gonna send you a link. I saw on Amazon. There's a little clip a ring clip that you can have. You can hold the cigarette there as you hold all your other things. That's the one thing I can't help you with out of all of those.
The one thing.
The one thing.
I'll J for you. I'll hold the J for you. I'm like, okay. Thank you. That's the one thing I knew was going to fall. That's the one thing that's pinched in more than you forget. Throw the whole thing up, and I got my phone in my mouth.
Out of
Phone in my
everything,
mouth, charger around my neck.
She said that was the one thing, Vic. The one thing she didn't need help with. Damn it!
That's not that's pinched in for real. That's the reason it's all started because I just wouldn't bother letting go of that. Anyway, I'm done with it. I don't care anymore. Clearly, I don't care.
Yeah, you're over it.
We're on to better sessions.
Yeah, word. I know you went right back outside too after that. You were like, man, that's all I got left. I got nothing else.
See, that's why I should just stay out there and finish smoking. Because taking me back in is why all of this happened. Now, see, if I'd have just stayed out there and finished smoking, then none of this would have.
Oh man,
Facts.
Hindsight, bro, it's crazy. Do you
2020 hindsight?
Yeah, for 2020.
That's so funny. Yeah, that's funny. That was funny. That was good.
So you play rugby, capoeira. Do you have favorite sports teams? Like, what are your favorite sports? What are your favorite teams?
I don't. I feel like I don't consume. The world of sports feels so vast. I feel so left behind by the big world of sports. I'm looking very casually, and I'm like, oh, this is. I mean, I got love for like DC teams, but that's just kind of the hometown in me. I kind of want to.
I hear they're scripted anyways, so it's fine.
It's just scripted. Don't follow them shit.
Hashtag DC boxing? I don't know.
You'd be surprised.
No,
yeah, no, something.
Right.
Scripted boxing.
Want to come back to wrestling a little bit. What, in your opinion, and I feel like I'm gonna love this answer because you talked a lot about psychology. So, in your opinion, what's more important, the face or the heel?
Well, see, that's the thing. They're carrying such an equal load, though, more equal than like I think people are even thinking about. Because the whole point is the fans are supposed to have a cheering reaction in general, right? They're supposed to like what's happened. So in order for that to happen, there's at the very base of it, there's a good and a bad, yeah. So I'm gonna cheer for the good guy, and I'm gonna be upset with the bad guy. That's the reason why the bad guy is doing any of this in the first place. You know what I mean? There's a reason why he's upset in the first place, and that whole reason is because of psychology. You know, if it were me, it would be that I am a technically sound wrestler. And a lot of times my opponents get frustrated by that. So they try to do little things to get in my head. They'll try to cheat. And me, you know, I mean, I'm, I don't do that. You know, I play things very by the book. I'm extremely sportsmanlike, you know, so that just throws me off that my opponents cheat sometimes, you know. So, I mean, I do what I can to try to work up from that. And the crowd is happy that I'm doing what I can to work up from that. But then they just cheat again. And then they get frustrated again. You know what I mean? So it's like everything that we're doing is tied into how we want, them to feel. It's why we're doing anything. Yep. For all of that, we just go out and just, I guess, kick each other around a little bit and just kind of do whatever we want and just maybe jump off some stuff and do a couple of these and a couple of those, and nothing makes any sense.
Too many dives, right? Too many dives. So
I don't know. I consider what the big picture is, and the big picture is if I want to be cheered, there's certain things that I'm to do to be cheered. And if someone wants to be booed, there's certain things that they have to do to be booed. So I think psychology is important because honestly, it's like it's why the luchador is, doing things the way that he's doing it, and that's why the brawler is doing those things the way they do it. That's why the powerhouse does things the way they do it. And that's why the technician does things the way they do it. Yeah.
So what's your favorite role to play?
I keep things very straight laced. I don't cheat. I keep it pretty chill. I understand that I have until 5, but I'm willing to give the benefit of the doubt to my opponent until they show me that they're not worth that anymore. Then I usually become more aggressive. So
you're like, sit the fuck down, bam.
That's what I'm thinking in my head. That's what I'm thinking in my head. Yeah, sometimes it comes out and I'm like, oh, yeah. I didn't mean to call you a bit. Sometimes the curses just slip out. It's, and I'm just like, what? My bad.
Yo, people like that. People like that. Even kids, they're like, yeah, all right. You forgot the whole Attitude Era was that? It was just one big
kids
curse
love
word.
it the best. They love it the
most.
Do you have any like pre-show rituals? Anything that kind of gets you in the headspace?
In the zone?
In the zone.
A lot of stretching. The stretching has to happen. Just kind of sitting with myself and just it's really mental prep a lot of the time. I'm very introverted and I pretty much keep to myself. I would call myself shy sometimes, I guess, until I get like super comfortable with you, but you know what I mean? How just pretty reserved overall. And going out to music that I picked, wearing something that I picked, to a place that hired me to work this event. And it'll be filmed and people are watching. And now I'm in a position where people really care about what I'm doing. So lots of people are watching. And so that's very there's a lot that comes with that, So I like to mentally get myself prepared to do that. So I spend a lot of time just kind of sitting with myself, just doing little vibe checks, making sure I'm cool. I don't really listen to music or anything like that. It's really just me and kind of my own thoughts. I usually bring my little yoga mat with me and I'll just sit out and just
nice quiet place,
pick
right?
a corner. Yeah, pick a corner and just sit, chill, think,
mellow,
the storm. I love it.
Yeah.
Cool, Trish. Thank you so much for your time. What are some last words you want to leave the fans with? What do you want to let them know about Trish Adora?
Oh, well, I'm really appreciative, for y'all like reaching out, and being patient with my schedule and things like that. I am very appreciative. So, thank you all so much. I had a really good time. This was probably the most fun I've had on a podcast in a little bit.
Thank you for
I'm
saying that.
happy to
Thank
like,
you.
I'm I'm happy to like laugh, and feel like we're having a conversation sometimes. It doesn't always happen that way. So when it does, I'm really happy. So thank you. I
Thank you for
appreciate
saying that.
the, I appreciate
Oh,
that.
Yeah, we
easy,
try to get
easy.
people escape from the realities of this world and have a good time, kick back, and we call it shooting the ish for a reason.
Yeah, for
Yeah, for
sure, for
sure.
sure. I'm happy to
So
anybody who's like, oh, sorry.
no, go ahead, go ahead.
No,
I was gonna say, tell
no,
them where they can find you. Like, go ahead. This is where you push everything. You tell them all the plugs right here.
yes. So, at Trish Adora 202, that's on IG and Twitter. And on Facebook, I have an athlete page, Around the Way Girl. And I also have a What a Maneuver page. I have merch now, so that's pretty awesome. I also
Hey.
have trading cards and some updated 8x10s for sale. And you can usually DM me on Instagram as far as like 8x10s and trading cards. I'll set it up to where every couple days I'll repost about it, so it'll kind of be freshened up because it kind of like bottlenecked for a little bit. So I'll be able to take care of all these orders. So keep them coming. I'm taking care of orders now. So
Most def,
updated
most
8
def.
by 10 trading cards. Trisha Adora 202. Lots of fun stuff coming up. So
Trish got you with all the merch. Everybody just needs to shut the fuck down. All right, it's coming. Calm down. All right.
right?
Espérate. Thanks so much, Trish. Appreciate you. Whenever you're in town, we're gonna try to catch your shows. We're in Jersey area, so if ever you're around, your first round's on us, man. We can't wait to see one of your shows.
First round, first J.
Yeah, all of that.
Yeah.
All of that.
That's a good
We
bet.
got you.
Okay, that's a good bet. Thank you. I'm looking forward to seeing y'all at some point, or just let me know the links and I'll put them out. Okay.
Absolutely,
Thank you so
Trish.
much.
Thank you for your time, man. We really appreciate it.
You have a good
Yeah,
night.
for sure, for sure. Y'all too.